One of the biggest USPs and perhaps most controversial features of Twitter has been its blue tick or its verification badge. That tick which appears after some accounts that essentially proves that people are who they claim. Now, these are given to certain accounts depending on specific criteria, but why exactly Twitter decides to give a blue tick to some accounts and not to others is still something shrouded in mystery. At the end of the day, it's a subjective decision. It's caused quite a bit of heartburn to those who couldn't get a blue tick, and it's seen as a badge of honor, as a premium sort of blue tick as well. Now, Elon Musk may just do away with the way these blue ticks are given out. As per certain reports and tweets that Elon put out as well on social media, on Twitter over the weekend, he may be thinking about charging for the coveted blue tick. According to a report in The Verge, the blue tick may become part of Twitter Blue, which is an exclusive sort of service on the site, and they could charge as much as $20 a month. So that's more than 1,600 rupees a month for that blue tick. Those who already have a blue tick or are part of Twitter Blue and refuse to pay may lose their blue ticks. Now, the question is, will Twitter be the same once the blue tick is something that you can simply pay for? Remember, it's a matter of prestige right now. It's a symbol that you are someone whose voice needs to be verified, and that's why this blue tick is usually given to celebrities, news organizations, heads of states, people who, when they tweet, you need to know this is coming from an authentic source. So, will Twitter lose its very nature and its personality if the way that blue tick is given out changes, or is it really a good thing? Is it now more democratic? To speak more on this and, of course, all of the other mayhem Elon Musk has unleashed in the last couple of days, I'm joined now by Sanjay Jha, author, Madhavan Narayanan, senior journalist and author with me on the show, and Nikhil Sharma, digital content creator. Welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for speaking with us today on the show. Nikhil, I have you on the show for the first time. Great to speak with you here. Let me begin with your view on the blue tick. It's seen as something that, it's very coveted. Now, will it be as precious if you can simply buy it?
I think if you are willing to pay, I'm sure it's going to be precious. I remember really struggling to get my Twitter account verified at the first place. So long back, it was not a difficult task to get my YouTube verified, Instagram and Facebook. But I really worked hard to get my Twitter verified. And I know so many people, they wouldn't mind paying to get their Twitter verified. Of course, if a certain criteria has been met. I don't think Twitter will lose its prestige. But if somebody wants their blue tick to be maintained, or they want to get their blue tick, I think this is going to be fun to see what happens next.
If it's actually $20 a month, as the many reports, some say 5, some say 20. If it's that steep, you think people will pay?
There's many people who will pay. I don't think I'm going to be the one. $20 a month is a bit too much. I think $4 or $5 is still manageable. But if you'll ask me, I know so many people personally. We used to have a conversation. It's too much of hassle to get the Twitter verified. I don't mind if they'll charge. And if you'll see Twitter now, Twitter plays a very important part of today's discussion. Let there be any topic. One tweet can make a huge difference. It doesn't really matter you're verified or not, but if it's verified, whenever you see a verified account, you get a bit of a confirmation in your head. Okay, so this account is verified. So whatever he or she is saying might be true or might be controversial. Now, imagine that Twitter account, now you have to pay to get verified. So whenever you see a blue tick account making a tweet, inside your head, it's a prestige account because he or she is paying for it. And of course, if we get a little bit of edit option and, erase option, that'll be great. We should be getting something in return.
So Nikhil is saying he wouldn't mind paying if it's maybe $5, maybe not 20, and he knows a lot of people who will pay. Sanjay, let me come to you, Sanjay Jha. So Twitter account verified is considered I think it's a prestigious thing because whatever comes from a verified account maybe has that modicum of credibility. Though there is no reason to believe or there's no proof that what a verified account is putting out is necessarily true. The only thing that you can be sure is that the person has actually said it. Will it have the same value of just anyone can pay for it?
Tamanna, one of the most celebrated verified accounts that Twitter had, Twitter ended up suspending it,
Yeah.
which was the most powerful man in the world, Donald Trump. So clearly, a verified account basically is authenticating the source of information which is being shared on Twitter or an articulation of an opinion. I agree with what Nikhil said that if you look at the so-called digital public square as we call it, today it is a chaotic there, and we all know the dangers of fake news, deep fake, manipulating information, and very often attributing comments that may not be actually emanating from that particular origin. And I think, therefore, people in public life, journalists like you, political figures like many in the world, including people like me, I think we cannot risk not being verified because tomorrow somebody can just kind of create a hand and people will believe that that has actually come from you, and before long you'll have a knock at the midnight hour on your door with an FIR from the police saying, hey, it was you.
Yeah.
So I believe that these are matters that are far more serious than Musk trying to monetize it. Now, in my opinion, and I think that's my firm belief, that a lot of people, if you look at the numbers behind the acquisition of Twitter, Elon Musk is clearly aware that he's overpaid for the acquisition, and he's got to fund that cost, the liabilities that are going on a day-to-day basis. So he is going to try and monetize every conceivable asset, and that's where the verified issue comes into play. In my opinion, as a pure and simple, unalloyed businessman, he's doing the smart thing. He's saying, listen, if you want to be verified, if you want people to know who you are, which means that you're taking Twitter seriously, then you should let people know that this is indeed me. In which case, why don't you pay for the service? And I think that's where the trick lies on the price. If you read the
No,
reports,
but why an ongoing payment? I mean, obviously, all of these are in the realm of speculation. Elon Musk has not announced anything yet. There is one report which says he's given his team till 7th of November to roll out this feature, otherwise they're all fired. So we don't
right.
know what's true, what's not true. There is so much fake news about Twitter that needs to be verified first. But maybe as a one-time service, Madhavan, I can understand a one-time service facilitation fee for the act of verification, because I assume that there is some sort of due diligence done. Otherwise, anyone can claim they are who they are. So, you have to give some paperwork, there's some due diligence. I can understand that as a one-time service fee. But this ongoing sort of money, for what?
Absolutely. I think, Tamanna, that's a good point. And let me first thank Nikhil and my friend Sanjay for setting out things so well that I can only pick up where they have left off. First of all, any payment of a service charge for verification is legitimate as a one-time option because we even pay for Aadhaar card verification, which is a government point or a passport fee. So if you treat the verification like a passport, a legitimate one-time fee with some kind of a renewal option once in a year or a couple of years seems very logical, and if it is reasonable as a one-time thing. A recurring revenue model is being deliberately done by Elon Musk essentially to puff up the valuation of Twitter because as a matter of pride, he's paid too much for it. He wanted out of the deal. He's trying to come back. And this is one way of, after trying to wriggle out, this is a way of trying to up the ante for the whole thing. But the fact that this is not a verified amount about a verified account shows that he will probably discover the right price and say, oh, it's only $5. A lot of people won't mind paying for it. Let me also add two more facts to this whole thing. This verification thing, because I'm a journalist, I'm one of the early, I was working for a reputed newspaper called Hindustan Times when my verification happened. At that time, Twitter was trying hard to build the credibility of both the tweeters as well as the content. And the blue tick was actually by invitation to attract better content and credible content. And right now that we've been considered to be undemocratic in that sense, this may be viewed differently. But let me say that verification is not just about, you know, authenticity. There can be three ways of looking at verification. One is authenticity, as to whether you are the person you claim to be you are, as Sanjay said out. Second thing is, do you have any credibility, as in, should people follow you because you have a tick, and that actually acts as a filter? You know, that is like saying, you know, is it worth my time following this person? The blue tick kind of mildly enhances it. So if you can, maybe you can have an optional color tick. You know, we live in a rainbow world. You know, blue tick can be substituted with another
Wow.
tick. Okay. And the third thing, as a content creator, as somebody who spends a lot of time offering what I believe to be credible content, I also want to know how good is your software. If I'm going to be merely charged 1,600 rupees a month because Twitter acknowledges I am who I say I am, I'm sorry, it's not worth it. But on the other hand, a lot of people, including my friend, the lyricist Nilesh Mishra, just tweeted. On the other hand, another well-known singer, who's an award-winning singer, came to me saying, "Can you help my account get verified?" And I tried in vain. And that's not fair, because so we need a certain single window approach to verification at a reasonable charge. At the same time, credibility, vanity, quality, and authenticity are four different things. And Twitter may want to look at each of these facts together. People are not fools. Good content creators are not fools. If the software comes with new features that help me filter my followers, or like the Twitter circles already exist in some way, but we need monetization models. So is it worth giving my credibility and time to Twitter? So it's a two-way process. And Elon Musk, for all his wealth and scientific chutzpah, should not live under any illusion that great content creators will, just because there's going to be the democratization of content, will suddenly pay for something that they should be paid for.
I just want to read out. I just want to read out what Stephen King tweeted some time ago. He has 6.8 million followers. The celebrated author. He says $20 a month to keep my blue check. I can't say the next few words, but essentially he says they should pay me. If that gets instituted, I'm gone like Enron. So, you know, a lot of very popular handles, and Nikhil, I want to come to you on this, because it's a symbiotic relationship between the content creator and the platform, isn't it?
Yes.
You need the platform, but they need you. They need you
Correct.
and your content to be there for people to come on. I mean, I like it that, you know, I know Steve King's views on any author, celebrated author's views, film stars, heads of state. I know what they're thinking, and that's why I'm on this platform.
Correct. See, I think I kind of agree with Mr. Madhavan that if you get an option of having a different colors, a take, and what he said about that, you know, there's a one-time fees for an Aadhaar card or for a passport, and there's many people won't mind for paying. And sometimes, you know, if you search Nikhil, there is so many Nikhils out there. A lot of people have difficulties in finding who's the real Nikhil is. And if you add a little bit of dot or an extra S or an extra L, you can have a multiple account and someone can tweet on behalf of you. And as he said, this can be a mishap. So I think there is no problem I see in this one. But yeah, there has to be a one-time fees and not a monthly subscription. And earlier, if you don't really tweet a lot, there are chances that you lose verification. No, so, you know, once you pay for certain things.
No, Nikhil, I also want to come from the point of view of the kind of platform Twitter is. And I was interested in speaking to you today because you are popular on various platforms, right? You do very well on YouTube, on Instagram. And Twitter is seen as a home for news and maybe news makers, not so much for entertainment or that kind of content. Do you think Twitter is sort of losing its relevance? For you personally, where does Twitter rank versus all the other platforms you're on?
See, as you said, it's not for entertainment. But if you'll ask me, sometime when I'm bored of all the videos on YouTube and Instagram, I go to Twitter just to see all the gossip. Sometimes, and we have to agree, I've seen so many people just to open open Twitter. Hey, see, someone tweeted this. Let's see what others have to say. And watching tweets from film critics about certain movies or about certain point of view regarding any political point of view or some new gadgets regarding iPhones, you just want to see whether other people share the same mindset as you. So it's not just a news; it's also a gossip. I mean, we used to read newspaper just to see what happened, like what's happening in Mumbai, what's happening in New Delhi, and that news become a topic of discussion. How a video becomes a topic of discussion. So I would say it's not just news or as a place to create news. It's also to hype up the certain news.
Yeah.
You'll always see the people discussing about inflation and of course the price of petrol. So there are always a two side because inflation is happening, that's why the petrol price is rising. Oh, the petrol price is rising, we have to do something about it.
So
And there are people
debate,
discussing
conversation, all of that is happening on Twitter, and who's giving
Yes.
that view also matters. Madhavan, do you think changing too many things around will mess Twitter, or is due for a change? Because Musk has definitely come there with a, jhadu to clean up things in his view
I
and
call him
reinstate a lot of new
I,
things.
I call him a bull in a China shop, but let me say with some decades of journalistic experience that you cannot make, just as you cannot make a pop singer sing classical stuff, you cannot make, you know, treat a content creator like an electric car. We are not machines. This is a community site. This is not a product site. Therefore, community guidelines are best where you followed or laid down based on the principle of mutual consensus on how value is created. For instance, verification is needed even for followers, if you would ask me, because if you don't, anonymous trolls and abusers are coming onto Twitter. So sometimes I think more than as an indicator of the status of the tweeter, it is the genuineness of the the follower that sometimes enhances the credibility of the timeline and the mention line, which are, in my opinion, the two products on Twitter, which is that I need to follow the timeline to follow good content, and my mention line creates good conversations. So both these factors need to be balanced, and there's a lot of room. I agree with Elon Musk that there's a lot of room for improvement and content. But if you think democratization by merely charging for blue tick or removing the blue tick is going to be a help, I think this is a counterproductive thing. It will boomerang, it will backfire. But Elon Musk, being Elon Musk, he loves to hog the headlines before he gets the bottom line, and that's what is probably going to happen.
I wonder if he'll pay for his blue tick. And he's already a bit upset. He has to do the Twitter management, module. Sanjay, do you think, changes like even making Twitter available for long form, etc., and some of the things he wants to do to monetize, clearly he's desperate to monetize it. Do you think it's going to wreck Twitter or improve it?
Well, that remains to be seen. But, it's very important to state at the very beginning that we are in the realm of speculation at the moment. But there's one point that we can't ignore, which is that if we go back to the time when there were a lot of, criticism and castigation of WhatsApp for, making your privacy get compromised. And I remember a whole exodus of people who said we are never going to come back to WhatsApp and we'll move to Signal or Telegram. Eventually, people didn't really leave WhatsApp. Many of them have come back, and it goes to tell you that the relationship between the user and the digital platform can be highly addictive. So I have a contrarian view here, which is that people who have been used to a blue tick will eventually stick to it. Now, I believe what Musk is trying to do is basically smart business. He's saying, listen, I don't think it's about ego trip, etc. alone. It's a combination. For me, it will be security about my own, individual profile not being compromised by a duplicate candidate out there. But, for others, it could be various other influencers. But think about it, Tamanna. If you are Musk, and that today you and I or Madhavan and other people are not paying anything for the blue tick, and tomorrow if you're paying $20, even if it's one time, it's humongous. You're talking about millions of dollars here. Number one. Number two, actually, the smarter move is that if you make it a recurring payment, now what the recurring payment is, whether it's quarterly, monthly, what the amount is, we don't know yet. But the logic of having a recurring payment is to say that you don't want to be protected one day, you want to be protected forever, or you want to ensure that your integrity is not being at all contravened. So the last issue here is also the barrier to entry to what you raised at the beginning of the program. Can people just purchase it and therefore have a blue tick? If you make the price higher, he actually kills two birds with one stone. There are people like us who will say, well, you know what, we are who we are and therefore we'll have to pay, we have no choice. It basically becomes like oil, even if the price of
Sanjay,
diesel
would you
or
pay?
petrol.
Since we
Well,
have four
I
blue ticks on this panel, let me ask, would you pay?
no, so I'm just answering that point. That you raised a point that will somebody just acquire it? Well, if the cost is high, I think it becomes prohibitive, and therefore he will tell himself that he's keeping wheat away from the shaft. To now answer your fundamental question, uh, at this moment I'm inclined to pay, but that's subject to what the amount is and what the frequency.
Madhavan, would you pay?
I would pay a certain amount, which I think is value for money, if it comes with features like weeding out abusive trolls and enabling me to do long form with maybe paid content, or do something like what Substack does now for more serious journalists, or medium.com is there, Substack is there, and there are new payment models are emerging. So if Twitter rides this wave of quality content, then I wouldn't mind paying for it. A, as somebody who doesn't mind paying for verification, and B, as somebody who creates quality content. But each would, it's like what I call the pizza principle. I wouldn't pay 500 rupees for a margarita pizza, but if it has good toppings, I would pay 500. If it's a margarita, well,
So not
you
just for
charge me more than
verification,
100.
but verification plus plus.
Yeah, exactly.
Nikhil, same answer?
Yeah, if it's a one time or if it's an annual subscription, I wouldn't mind paying. Beside, if I get some features like edit option or changing my blue tick color or something like that, of course, blocking certain account.
All right. For my view, I would request everyone to come to my Twitter handle and see what I have to say about it.
And hope it is Tamanna, huh? And we have to hope it is
That's a good
Tamanna.
one.
No, no,
And not some doppelganger.
as of now, it is. That actually happened to me on Instagram. So I do understand the point of what you're saying, Sanjay. That is important.
Tamanna, you will not do anything without an inam, right?
Yes. So the inam is you have to come to my handle to see what I think about whether I would pay or not for a Twitter verification. But on that note, thank you. Thank you to all of you for joining us
Thank
today.
you.
And let's wait and see how this Musk madness unfolds on Twitter.
Thank you.
Thank you.